I will never spend my Bitcoin right now until it raises to where I think it needs to be. Remember that number, 100 million. I firmly bet my life that not in my lifetime, but maybe in my children's lifetime, that one Bitcoin today that's worth 40,000 is going to be worth about $100 million. So what do? I buy and stack for my kids. You can stack for your future.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bitcoin Business Basics. I have a phenomenal guest today that I'm going to share with you all. No, I'm just teasing, but we're going to share her with the world today. She has an incredible project. She is an incredible young lady. This young lady's name is Courtney, and she wears many hats. First of all, she is the mom to a beautiful, rambunctious, phenomenal little queen who runs everything. And her auntie Najah is super proud of her and what she does. I understand she took you for a little ride this last couple of weeks, but Miss Courtney is a corporate professional in the government contracting industry. She is the owner of a local transportation company, and most recently, she is a philanthropist of sorts. And you all will hear about that in a little while. Courtney and her husband founded a 501c3 nonprofit that is called Quality Education and Water for All. It is QEWFA. So their mission is to provide clean, drinkable water to as many people on the continent of Africa as they can, beginning in Togo, West Africa. She has a passion for helping other people and seeing those in and around her circle thriving and showing up as the best version of themselves on a consistent basis. Fun fact, she used to be a professional drummer. Now, why can I believe that she used to be a professional drummer? This girl has got a little body like no other. She's a bodybuilder, and I could just see her drumming. I don't know how long my arms can handle that, but I know you can do that. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Kourtni Young to Bitcoin Business Basics. How are you, Courtney?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us about Courtney. Like, who is Courtney? I know Courtney is a mother. And what happened with my little niecey this week? What did she do?
Man, this girl, she is just a handful. I wouldn't trade her for anything in this world, but she is a handful. So we were at the park a few days ago, and there's a lake, man-made lake or whatever, and she's running around curious and whatnot, and all of a sudden she kind of darted off, and I got into mommy mode real quick and just ran and darted towards her, and as soon as I grabbed her, she kicked my pocket and out with my phone, and I literally watched it, tumble into the water. So I lost about 2 years worth of pictures and whatnot. But I was telling Erica, we got a GoPro the other day, and we're going to go out to the lake and try to recover it so I get those pictures back. So wish us luck with that.
Well, you know what? I wish you'll get it back. You'll get it. So. And prayerfully, all that will be still intact. Even stuff happens, man. Yeah. Stuff happens, and so since we're on Bitcoin Business Basics, let me say this. I have lost some massive hard drives. Either one of my children has knocked it off my desk, or even when I thought I had a hard drive of a hard drive to just back it up. They managed to do that. So I literally went in the cloud. I have been in the cloud now, I want to say about 10, 11 years, because I just have not taken any more chances because I have too many children with too many fumbly hands. So
see, the thing about that is I have everything else backed up to the cloud except for my pictures.
Well, you'll get them. You'll get your pictures, and then you'll get it backed up to the cloud. So with that, tell us a little bit about who Courtney is.
Who is Courtney? I am Courtney. You said a little bit about it. My pride and joy of life right now is that little girl that we just spoke about. she was a surprise for sure. But I wouldn't trade her for anything in this world. And she has just opened up uh, my life and my eyes and my womanhood and all things that are great. I feel like she's introduced me to those things. Outside of that, I work in the defense contracting space. I work for one of the biggest aerospace companies in the world, based here in Tucson. I've been doing that about 6 or 7 years now. Outside of that, me and my husband, we have a limousine company here in Tucson, and that has just been growing and making us making a life for us and our kids, our current one, and any of them to come to pass after her. I've done a little bit of everything. I used to bodybuild. I competed nationally in the NPC, a personal trainer. I do a lot of things, and what we're going to be talking about later in this conversation is one of my most accomplished and one thing that I'm most proud of outside of my daughter. So,
Okay.
yep,
All
helping
right.
people has been the joy of my life these last couple of years. So,
That's awesome. So let me just ask you, so how long have you been in the Bitcoin space?
so I have an interesting story about that. My first interaction with Bitcoin was actually my senior year in college. And it wasn't because I was, looking for a revolution or looking, to revolutionize anything. I was actually failing a computer programming class. And I decided that I was going to find the nerdiest kids in the class that I could, and they were going to help me pass. So long story short, they invited me to a study group, and they were talking about this bit thing or this coin thing. And looking back, I'm pretty sure they gave me, a good explanation of what it was, but that was so far from my mind. I didn't know what money was. I didn't come from money. We didn't have any. So just to fit in, they showed me what it was, showed me Coinbase and all that. And my first Satoshis were about $600 for 100 million of them. And it couldn't have been more than a few months after that I passed my class. And
Okay.
we circled back to the Bitcoin, and I realized I had lost a couple $100 of my grant money that I so graciously offered up. And I just thought it was stupid. I was mad because I lost my money. I was broke and broke minded, and I got my money back. And that was the last I heard of Bitcoin until I would say about 2009, 19. But unfortunately, it came with buddies named Ethereum and a few others. So it wasn't really, I always give credit to the BBB for really honing me back in, but I got to be specific and say Black Regal was the one who kind of took me under his wing and got my head on straight. And I would say to mid 2021 is when I was really understanding and all in and got out of what you called the altcoin casino. And I would say my learning and my deep dive into Bitcoin was like, I would say 2020, 2021. So not
Okay.
too long. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so what do you well, being on both continents, being on North America, being in Africa, what do you see as the future of Bitcoin for either one of those continents? You can pick whichever one you
Oh,
want to.
I'm all in. I think Bitcoin is the way, the truth and the light, not taken away from many of my religious folks.
Right, right.
I just think that it, especially for people of color, I think that we have been let out and shut out of so many other opportunities as far as wealth building and being able to pass on, generational wealth to our successors. And I think Bitcoin is going to be what allows us to do that and kind of play catch up and catch up to the rest of the world.
Yes, and I totally understand. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. Now, in the region of Africa that you go to, in the country of Togo, where you do go, is there any talk of Bitcoin at all in the cities or nearby, or is there anybody talking about cryptocurrency in that particular country?
In the regions that we've been outside of me and being a Bitcoin evangelist, there hasn't been much outside of maybe conversations here and there, but with T-Mac on our team, I don't know we've discussed this outside of obviously this platform, ways in which we can, as an organization, begin to introduce the youth to Bitcoin and to, the blockchain technology through our learning centers and stuff. I mentioned the company industry that I work for, they were able to donate hundreds of laptops to us. So in addition to the water and projects and stuff that we do, we're in the process of designing a learning center. So we will be able to implement that there, have people come in and teach, possibly Crypto Kids Camp come in and do some
That's
teaching stuff there.
awesome.
So we if nothing is there yet, we plan to be pioneers in that space as well.
That is incredible. I'm happy to hear that. So congratulations to you. Congratulations. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the actual other love of your life, other than your daughter and your husband. But tell us about the other work that you're doing and what you're doing in Togo.
Yeah, so the organization, like you pronounced it correctly, QEWFA, stands for Quality Education and Water for All. And it came about after the first time that I had visited to Africa with my husband to meet my soon-to-be in-laws. And I was just really just taken aback by the conditions that I saw, not necessarily in the cities, because just like everywhere else in the world, there's poverty and there's riches, and it's a stratified society just like any other place, but when we got out into the villages and we saw how like the local people in the villages were living, it was something that I can't even really put into words. They were drinking water and using water that I wouldn't even like step in. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting the dirty bottom of my shoes in this water. And this is the water that they were using to cook with, to clean with, to, do their laundry and just really sustain their life. And we got back and I was just like, we have to do something. Like we're in the best position we've been in our adult lives. And, we need to figure it out. And once we put that intention out and into the universe, I believe is when we began to have the people that we needed, become introduced and attracted to our lives. So we didn't have any technical background. We didn't know how to build wells or find contractors or do any of the things that by God's grace we were able to accomplish. And it's just been an amazing journey. I can share some of the videos and stuff that we've done outside
Sure,
or after this
please.
conversation.
Please.
Yeah, we started the organization in 2018. It was last year that we were able to finally raise enough money, being a little grassroots effort to build our first well, and it was in the village of Katwe, and that served over 2,000 people, giving them water, clean, drinkable water for the first time in many of their lives. So this past December, January, we took another team out there. That was a pretty challenging trip. We all, including our 2-year-old, we ended up getting sick with malaria. Then once we got, better from that, we all got sick with COVID. So in between the sicknesses, we were able to visit a handful of more villages, and we narrowed it down to the next 2 villages that will receive water. And they had conditions even more dire than the first village that we built in. So my husband is actually leaving next week to go back and begin the construction and everything. And by September, about 4,000 people will have access to water at this point.
Oh, amen. I that is awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you said that you were going back to visit your in-laws and they're there. I want everybody to know, because I know the story of which village, like you didn't even pick your husband's village. You all were selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
You have selflessness and you did not pick his village specifically. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about why you didn't pick his village.
Yeah, we just wanted to get the message out that we want to help the people that need help. We wanted to help people that we didn't have any type of connection to, so that there was no conflict of interest or perceived conflict of interest. We wanted to go and go through the process to see who actually needed the most help. They all need help, but we wanted to go through the different processes to identify villages. So we had people, submitting, applications of sorts and submitting, demonstrating their absolute need. And we wanted to just make sure that we had no connections to those people. So the people that we were looking for donations to and organizations, that we just didn't want there to be any chance that there would be any perceived conflict of interest. So that's why we chose to do it that way.
So you said something. I just want to ask a question. So, like, how? I know you said that they had an application process, but how did you really determine the need? Did they like submit a picture of what their water looked like? Like, how did they do that?
So outside of the three people that we have here locally based in the States, we have actually a team on the ground. And with their resources, as limited as they are, they actually went and visited each village,
Oh,
and just, assessed what was going on, how they were living, where the nearest sources of water were, if there were any at all. And then we actually had to do geologic studies to actually, when we were able to narrow them down, to even determine if there could be water in that village in particular. We also wanted to do it in a village where that it was located in a central location that would give the most people access. So it's not just the people locally in that village, because people are traveling miles anyway, not just people locally where a water source could potentially be, but we wanted to put it in a place where the absolute most people could have access to it. So those
that
are some of the ramifications of how we selected villages.
okay. Well, that's awesome. And I also want to know approximately how many. What's your vision? What does this look like in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, we hope to have established a track record for the people that we're looking to raise funds for, so that they know exactly where their money is going. And we want to give as many people water as we can. Like we don't have a cap on how many. We would like to do several villages at a time, because it's very expensive to go out there, especially originating from the state. But once we get there, if we're able to do multiple villages in one trip, that just gives more bang for the buck for the money that we raise. So to answer your question, there is no cap. We want to give as many people water as we possibly can.
So, how successful was bringing this idea to the Bitcoin community, and were they receptive in helping?
I would say it's kind of yes and no as far as reception goes. I want to give credit to Miss Sam. I won't put a government name all out there, but Mrs. Sam, that is part of the BBB. She actually was I want to kind of say pioneer to getting us kind of as an organization. As far as Bitcoin donations are concerned, she decided to have one of her NFT projects and raised the funds and stuff for that, and all the proceeds from her NFT project she donated to the organization. So that was our first kind of dabbling in Bitcoin donations as an organization. And from there, we actually reached out to several different platforms that allow specifically nonprofits to accept Bitcoin donations. And we actually, to my surprise, were kind of turned down by a few of them. And the reason was our annual revenue was such that we wouldn't make a big enough impact. So that was a little discouraging, going through a couple different companies. And then we finally arrived at BitPay, which we're in the process of getting that onto our newly revised website. So
And I have another one for you, a new one, a Black owned one.
Okay.
Yes. They just came on the scenes and they're just launching, and they would love, I'm sure, to work with you in the Bitcoin space and making sure that you're getting those donations.
Absolutely.
So we're just super excited about what you're doing. I think it's incredible. How many people did you bring from the United States over to Togo on that last mission?
Yep. So, and not including me and my little family, there was three of us. We brought T-Mac with us, who is one of the resident BBB members over on Clubhouse. He actually linked us with one of his structural engineering friends, Jerry Dodd. He was able to come over with us. We had a photographer with us, and two other local people. So the team was about 7 or 8 folks in total.
Okay. So yes. So that's awesome. So you're a working mom. You have this passion on the side that you're doing, and you're also investing in Bitcoin, taking your time and doing what you need to do. What would you say to mothers out there that have and are running businesses? Oh, do you accept Bitcoin yet in your limousine company?
We're actually in the process of doing that. We are in the process of getting that done. So I don't know how do I say this? You met my husband.
Yeah.
And he's not the most technical person, and he is a very stubborn person. So getting him to go down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin and be, as passionate about Bitcoin as I am, to the point where we're able to kind of transition our business, that our baby as our business was a bit of a challenge, but we're locked in for that.
Okay, okay. Well, at least as long as it's moving in that direction,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you'll
yeah.
be good. Definitely,
For my
definitely.
personal, my other side hustles, personal training and stuff, I do actually accept Bitcoin for my personal training. So
That's what's up. And
that's what's
I'm always saying it. I definitely need to get on the stick with that. But
absolutely. I got you. I'll fly back to LA and get you.
yes, yeah, I know you will because you are about your business. When you say you're going to do something, you definitely do.
Yeah,
That's why I said when you didn't make it to Miami, she did not intentionally not come to Miami because I know her and I know her husband, and they would be here if they could be here. So we
yeah.
definitely know that. So, what would you say to an aspiring mother who is working and trying to make ends meet and really trying to get into this Bitcoin space and really start their own business? Because you definitely wear a lot of hats. What would you say?
I would say the educational piece is the most important. Get educated not only about what Bitcoin is, but even further what money is in general. We have a community here in the BBB and just in Bitcoin space in general of people that are willing to teach and
Yes,
willing to lead people and willing to provide resources to people. And once that light bulb clicks and once you get it, at least for me, it was like nothing else made sense after Bitcoin made sense. You know what I mean? And that's not to discount anybody who's dabbling in other coins and whatnot. That's none of my business. But as far as I'm concerned, when I understood what Bitcoin was, nothing else made sense. And it just had other implications out of the rest of my life, and just investing the time to understand what it is that you're doing. And I feel like that's the only way. I've gotten to the point where being almost to the point where I'm like vomiting at the mouth when it comes to Bitcoin to family members and friends. I know that it got at one point, it was just kind of a really overwhelming. So when it came to my siblings, I'm like, okay, if they don't get it, it is what it is. But as far as my nieces and my nephews are concerned, had I not been on that boating accident and lost all my Bitcoin, they would be straight with their wallets and whatnot. So
exactly.
I'm making sure that they're taken care of, and their parents, will come along as they do. But as far as mothers and just parents and just people in general, I say the first step is just getting the resources there. There's plenty, from books to YouTube to, Michael Saylor's hope.com. There's so many resources. Miss Charlene's Sade's Satoshi,
Sade Satoshi's.
Jackson's.
I saw Dave too, by the way, in Miami.
Say it again.
I said, I saw her baby. I said, I saw your book
Oh yeah.
in Miami. She was like, what?
Yep. So
Yeah.
even the people that are connected to you have a plethora of resources to just learn about what this space is, and you have no choice but to buy into it after you understand it.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Well, yes, I think it's really an admirable thing that you're doing with your quality education and water for all. It's incredible. When I saw those bottles of water and how dirty that water was, all I could do was open my mouth and just be like,
Yeah.
because it's just incredible. And you are being the change that you want to see. How do people get in touch with Courtney? How do
Um,
people donate
mhm.
to quality education and water for all?
I like that. I'm pretty much on every social media platform. I can provide my email address, even my phone, my Google number, not my real number, my Google number to folks to reach out to me. And I'm pretty diligent in responding back to people. And, however people are willing to help, obviously the financial piece is a very important piece, because you can't get anything done, without money.
Right.
So if people have, networks, that goes sometimes just as far, even further than the financial piece can go, because you never know who and who they know. um,
Right.
Even as far as like T-Mac has joined our team, he has a plethora of knowledge in the engineering space, and just people who have skills that they can contribute to the organization are extremely helpful. So we have a website, QEWFA, which is QEWFA.org. /donate. You can donate there. We have PayPal, we have Cash App, we have a couple different Bitcoin wallets I can send addresses to. And soon, hopefully at the end of this week, our BitPay will be active on our new website. So there's a few different ways, and I'd be happy to share those information outside of this chat.
That is awesome, awesome, awesome. And Kourtni Young, we appreciate you. Where's that little fabulous little girl?
I told Miss Erica she's with my mom. My husband's at work. I can go get her.
I was waiting on her to bust through there because she is the queen of the house.
Yep, I'm in the
So,
guest house right now. I had to detach myself, so I'll
detach yourself. Yes, that's awesome. So, well, Courtney, it has been incredible, and we thank you for all that you're doing. And I cannot wait to get to Africa. It just seems like this year, I got to go this year, but it just seems like it's such a task to get things in order to even be able to pack up and go and do some of the things, just because there's so much going on in this space. But we definitely are going to be supporters. I will say that. We're going to make sure that you have what you need going forward. We have some items and stuff that we need to donate and get over there to Togo with you and for you and the people that you're working to serve. So again, we thank you. Is there any final words you want to share?
No, I just express my gratitude. I try to be in a state of gratitude more so than I'm not. And you and Lamar and all the people that I've been introduced to virtually since we've not met outside of you in person, I'm constantly just giving you and singing all of you guys your praises for just giving me the opportunity every time that you have, even when it's, solely Bitcoin related or having nothing to do with my work. Because, you guys pretty much just met me a year ago and you guys have just welcomed me under your wings and took me in as family. And I'm forever grateful and appreciative of the opportunity. So thank you are my final words.
Oh, well, thank you. And we appreciate you. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, you have met Kourtni Young, and we want you to go to her website, which is the acronym of her organization, .org. So you're doing the QEWFA.org if you're not able to see that. And then also please go to the DFR, and that stands for the Digital Financial Revolution. So the DFRtour.com, and make sure that you register for the Digital Revolution Tour as we are coming around the United States to a city near you. And we're looking forward to educating and helping people set up wallets and all those things that we do out there. And we also have a crypto essentials that will be coming up very soon. And so you can go to our website, which is, actually you can go to, let's see, what's the easiest way to do your crypto essentials? You can go to my link tree, and my link tree is shown most of the time on my social media, but you can go to meetup.com/crypto plug. Again, that's meetup.com/crypto plug, and you can sign up for crypto essentials. We're also going to have a Ledger and Me 123. So if you are out there and you want to sit alongside several people that are setting up their ledgers at the same time via Zoom, please do register for Ledger and Me 123 as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining another episode of Bitcoin Business Basics. I'm your host, Najah Roberts, and you have just heard from the fabulous Kourtni Young. Peace and blessings, family. So we're doing this second annual Digital Financial Revolution Tour. We're going to start on May the 29th. We're going to end on July the 13th. We're hitting 41 cities this year. It is critically important that we get this information out to our community. So we're going to start off here in Los Angeles, head up north to Oakland, all the way back down through to Las Vegas, and we are going to end up in Milwaukee, down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and back. So 41 cities, all inner city. And what we're going to do is just really give the message that money is changing, that people need to get educated. We're going to offer them means by which they can get this information and education for free. Make sure that people are not paying for things that they shouldn't be paying for. Making sure that people are not on exchanges that they shouldn't be on. Making sure that people are not joining companies that they don't need to be joining in order to take part in this digital revolution. Our goal is what we call to orange pill. Orange pill is to help people understand Bitcoin, not in its totality, because we're not going to do that in one day of being in their city, but at least we can open their eyes and ears and minds to what is actually on the table for us. And there's a saying that we've heard all of our lives. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Well, I'm here to say if they don't give you a seat at the table, build a table. And we are building a table for our community to be able to do what we need to do to be financially free, close this wealth gap, and get ourselves out of the situation that we've been in for the last 150 some odd years, and that's out of poverty.